how are you? Hope all of you are fine and safe at your home. Students, today we start our chapter number 4, A Truly Beautiful Mind. So before you read, students, who do you think of when you hear the word genius? And who is a genius? What qualities do you think a genius has? कि जब आप कभी जीनियस वर्ड सुनते हो तो आप क्या सोचते हो? जीनियस कौन है? क्या क्वालिटीज होती है जीनियस में? Now we shall now read about a young German civil servant who took the world by storm about 100 years ago. In the summer of 1905, the 26-year-old published in quick succession 4 groundbreaking papers about light, the motion of particles, the electrodynamics of moving bodies, the energy. His work took up only a few pages in scientific journals, but changed forever our understanding of space, time, and the entire cosmos, and transformed the name Einstein into a synonym for genius. कि हम एक यंग जर्मन सिविल सर्वेंट के बारे में पढ़ने जा रहे हैं जिसने वर्ल्ड में एक तूफान लाया 100 years ago, 100 साल पहले, कि 1905 के समर में 26 साल का लड़का उसने पब्लिश किया 4 ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग पेपर्स में. तो लाइट के बारे में, मोशन ऑफ पार्टिकल्स के बारे में, इलेक्ट्रोडायनेमिक्स ऑफ मूविंग बॉडीज के बारे में, एनर्जी के बारे में. उसका जो वर्क था वो कुछ पेजेस में साइंटिफिक जर्नल्स में आया, लेकिन उसने स्पेस, टाइम और एंटायर कॉस्मोस को हमेशा के लिए बदल दिया. एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म द नेम, और आइंस्टाइन नाम को उसने जीनियस वर्ड सिनोनिम दिया. आइंस्टाइन का सिनोनिम दिया जीनियस. 50 years आफ्टर हिज डेथ, अपने डेथ के 50 साल बाद भी एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन्स जीनियस स्टिल रिगेन्स. एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन जीनियस को याद किया जाता है. नाउ द स्टोरी ऑफ आइंस्टाइन ट्राइज टू शो him as a human being, a fairly ordinary person who had his likes and dislikes, his streaks of rebellion and his problems. Now, Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879 in the German city of Ulm. He had a large head and his mother thought he was a freak. He started speaking very late. He was interested in mechanical toys. His playmates called him a bore. He loved playing violin. All these things are he doing in his childhood. Now in his school, Einstein went to school in Munich. Though he was good at studies, he felt stifled there. It was because the discipline was too strict. He often had confrontation with his teachers. His headmaster believed he was good for nothing. Now at the age of 15, he left school forever. Now Albert wanted to study at a university in Zurich, where the pupils were more liberal than at Munich. His parents opposed his idea but finally agreed to send him there. Einstein was highly talented in physics and maths. There he met a fellow student, Milivia Marek. She was equally intelligent, but he fell in love with her because he found she had views similar to his. He hoped they together would stand against the uncultured and barbarous people. He hoped that they together would bring out work on relativity too. Now Einstein wanted to marry her just after finishing her studies at the university, but her mother opposed their marriage. She thought Milivia would not prove a good wife because of her too much interest in science. She was older to Einstein too, but Einstein married her in 1903. They had 2 sons, but the marriage failed. Milivia was unhappy. At last, they divorced in 1919. Albert married his cousin Elsa the same year. Now Einstein was employed as a technical expert in a patent office. He jokingly called his writing desk as Bureau of Theoretical Physics. He called it so because he was secretly working on his ideas on relativity. In 1905, he published his paper on special theory of relativity. According to his theory, time and distance are not absolute. This surprised the world. Thus followed his famous formula E equal to mc square. In 1915, he published his general theory of relativity. His calculations were tested at the time of solar eclipse in 1919 and were found to be accurate. The world of science proclaimed his inventions revolutionary. Einstein became famous the world over. In 1933, Hitler came to power in Germany. Einstein emigrated to the United States. 5 years later, German scientists in Berlin discovered nuclear fission. The scientists in America were greatly disturbed. It was feared that the Nazis would build the atom bomb. Einstein wrote a letter to President Roosevelt to apprise him of the extent of destruction the atom bomb could cause. President Roosevelt took his letter very seriously. The Americans built the atom bomb secretly. They dropped 2 atom bombs on 2 Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In August 1945, Einstein was shocked by the destruction and mindless use of science. He wrote an open letter to the United Nations. He suggested that the formation of a world government, but his letter had no effect. Now for the next 10 years, he campaigned for peace and democracy. He agitated against the build-up arms. Now Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76. We remember him as a visionary and world citizen. So students, here we learn about the life of Albert Einstein, a truly beautiful mind. So you have to read this lesson and try to understand it once again.